along, didn't watch, J.K. Rowling has attacked people like me for daring to exist. This week, J.K. Rowling took a break from harassing trans people on Twitter to mock a new minority of the non-straight community: asexuals, people like me. For those who don't know, and to hugely simplify for the sake of brevity, asexuals, abbreviated to ACE, are people who have little or no interest in having sexual relationships. We don't tend to be judgmental of others' sexual preferences. We're more along the lines of, any consenting adult can do whatever they want, I'll just stay out of it. To quote Victoria Wood, I've seen one in a book and I was not impressed. We have a flag, although in my opinion it's the most boring one available, being black, grey, white and purple. We're one of the quietest and most inoffensive groups in the LGBTIA+ community, and as such, we're often overlooked.
Not having sex is a valid choice, and you shouldn't have sex unless you're...
No, I don't want to have sex at all. Ever with anyone. I think I might be broken.
Okay.
I spent my 20s and much of my 30s thinking I was ill or broken because I did not feel sexual attraction to other people, because I did not know that asexuality was a legitimate orientation. People don't know asexuals exist. Those who have heard of us seem to think that we are faking it for attention, but who chooses not to talk about something for attention? Make it make sense. Or that we can be quote-unquote fixed by having sex, whether we want to or not. And we don't want to. The term for this is corrective rape. This week, J.K. Rowling used her platform to tell her 14.3 million followers that asexuality is fake and does not exist. Over an image celebrating International Asexuality Day, 6th of April, Rowling tweeted, "Happy International Fake Oppression Day to everyone who wants complete strangers to know they don't fancy a shag." So, thanks, Joanne, for making myself and people like me feel even more isolated than we already do. People who are already looked down upon by society for remaining single and childless. People against whom corrective rape is still used. What has prompted this? I think there are actually 3 motivations here. 1. Nothing. Nothing prompted this, or at least nothing that I can find. It's not like a group of asexuals attacked J.K. Rowling. No one tried to smother her with an ace flag. She just decided that asexuals don't exist, and therefore we shouldn't celebrate the fact that we do. There was no reason for her to do this. As my best friend put it, who the hell decides they're going to have a problem with a group of people who quite literally don't fuck with anyone? 2. LGBTIA+ hate. I think J.K. Rowling is actually against the entire LGBTIA+ community. She's just targeting the smallest, easiest groups first. Give it 1 to 3 years and she'll be claiming that bisexuals don't exist either. You may recall that it was only after the Harry Potter books were done and dusted that she claimed Dumbledore was a secret gay the whole time and was absolutely in love with Gellert Grindelwald. The now abandoned Fantastic Beasts films were supposed to explore that relationship further, despite it having nothing to do with the presumed main character, Newt Scamander. And that turned out to be nothing more than a marketing ploy to get people who would have liked to have seen Dumbledore's non-straight relationship represented on screen to buy tickets. 3. Attention. J.K. Rowling is almost 60 years old now, but she absolutely knows how to manipulate an algorithm. She knows that people are getting bored of all the anti-trans tweets, and that outside of Harry Potter, no one really cares about her writing. She uses a male pseudonym, Robert Galbraith, for her Cormoran Strike novels, which is actually kind of ironic considering her anti-transness. I was working as a bookseller when The Cuckoo's Calling was released, and in my opinion, it was a very deliberate marketing strategy to have Robert Galbraith's identity as J.K. Rowling accidentally leaked so that the book would actually sell in the hugely saturated crime genre market. In its first 3 months of release, the hardback edition of The Cuckoo's Calling had shifted about 500 copies. Then the Sunday Times revealed the true author, and over 17,000 copies sold within a week, which is an increase of 41,000%. You might also remember that J.K. Rowling put a cross-dressing character into her fifth Cormoran Strike novel, Troubled Blood, in 2020, and generated a lot of buzz for doing so, right about the time her whole anti-trans stance was really starting to kick off. When all is said and done, J.K. Rowling has chosen this moment in time to make nasty comments against asexuals, a marginalised group of people, because she knows it will get her attention. Positive attention or negative, she doesn't care. And it is a fact of social media that if you say something outrageous and negative, it will get more interaction than something positive. People create entire brands around doing this in a genre called rage baiting. This is exactly what J.K. Rowling is doing. She probably doesn't actually care about asexuals one way or another, but she knows that her tweet will stir up attention and get people talking about her. The Harry Potter TV series was greenlit in 2023, and its first major casting announcement happened in late February 2025. Given how long this took, it's telling that Dumbledore will now be played by American award-winning actor John Lithgow, since when the books were being adapted to film in the early 2000s, Rowling was so adamant on having a British and Irish cast. I can't help but wonder whether the people behind the project were having trouble finding a UK actor who wanted to associate themselves with this series and J.K. Rowling. By the way, John Lithgow, if you're listening, it's probably not too late to change your mind and not have this be your legacy. He's not listening. Anyway, my point is, no one cares about the Cormoran Strike novels or their TV adaptations, and it'll be another 2 years before the Harry Potter TV series is released, as the current expectation is for 2027. So Rowling is creating these posts to make people give her attention, like I am doing right now. So what do we do about this? Well, how about, Joanne, instead of bullying people who have nothing to do with you, you get off Twitter and write another detective story. But of course, that would be too much to ask. It turns out that J.K. Rowling was so good at writing bullies because, in truth, she is one. And so I think the solution is the same as with many bullies. We should ignore her. If she writes more books under her own name or a pseudonym, don't buy them. And don't borrow them from the library because authors still get paid if you do that. Don't go to see the plays, one play that you have to pay twice for because it's split into two parts, that she actually didn't write but is based off of her characters and she does earn money for, even if you can afford the minimum £50 ticket price per part. Don't watch the adaptations of the Cormoran Strike books. Do not watch the upcoming Harry Potter TV series. I'd like to say that the most powerful thing we could do is not respond to anything she puts out on social media, just let her scream into the void and get no reaction. Unfortunately, if half of the people who responded are doing so to call out Rowling as the bullying troll that she is, the other half are those who agree with her and think that people are giving themselves fake labels in order to appease the woke agenda, as if it's some sort of crotchety dragon. And so, if you are against the things that Rowling spouts, you have to point people in the direction of sources that will prove that she is wrong, bigoted, and dangerous. You know, maybe the most ironic thing? I am an asexual, and I didn't know that International Asexuality Day was a thing. Not until multi-millionaire J.K. Rowling used it as an excuse to invalidate my existence. To me, it was just Sunday. But you'll bet I'll remember the date of 6th April for next year. And I hope you do too. Thanks for listening to this all the way through, that's very kind of you. And if you've hung around just to leave a nasty comment, then go ahead. YouTube is a social media platform like Twitter is, and the more comments this gets, the larger an audience it actually reaches. If you're wondering whether this is the direction my channel is going in now and I'm going to turn into some kind of woke activist, the answer is no. The focus will still be on out-of-print audiobooks, but you may see the odd video pop up about other topics personal to me every now and again. Don't feel you have to watch them if you don't want to, it's your life, watch whatever you want. If this has piqued your interest though, I did a video about the late great Sir Terry Pratchett and the impact of his Alzheimer's diagnosis on the way his work was received about 8 years ago now, and so you might like that too. If you'd like to find out more about asexuality, there is a link to the Asexual Visibility and Education Network in the description.